Gyrgir was a prominent Byzantine Greek general during the 11th century. He was the catepan of Italy in 1042. He is known as Gyrgir in Scandinavian sagas. He is popularly said to have been extremely tall and well-built, almost a giant. Maniacs first became prominent during a campaign in 1030 to 1031, when the Byzantine Empire was defeated at Aleppo but went on to capture Edessa from the Arabs. His greatest achievement was the partial reconquest of Sicily from the Arabs beginning in 1038. Here, he was assisted by the Varangian Guard, which was at the time led by Harald Hardrada, who later became King of Norway. There were also Norman mercenaries with him, under William de Hauteville, who won his nickname A&R by defeating the Emir of Syracuse in single combat. However, he soon ostracized his admiral, Stephen, whose wife was the sister of John the Eunuch, the highest-ranking man at court, and by publicly humiliating the leader of the Lombard contingent, Ardwine, he caused them to desert him with the Normans and Norsemen. In response, he was recalled by the Emperor Michael IV, also brother-in-law of Stephen. Although the Arabs soon took the island back, Maniaca's successes that later inspired the Normans to invade Sicily themselves. Maniaca's accomplishments in Sicily were largely ignored by the emperor, and he revolted against Constantine IX in 1042. Though he had been appointed catepan of Italy, the individual particularly responsible for antagonizing Maniacs into revolt was one Romanus Sclerus. Sclerus, like Maniacs, was one of the immensely wealthy landowners who owned large areas of Anatolia. His estates neighbored those of Maniacs, and the two were rumored to have attacked each other during a squabble over land. Sclerus owed his influence over the emperor to his famously charming sister Sclerina, who, in most areas, was a highly positive influence on Constantine. Finding himself in a position of power, Sclerus used it to poison Constantine against Maniacs, ransacking the latter's house and even seducing his wife, using the charm his family were famed for. Maniaca's response, when faced with Sclerus demanding that he hand command of the empire's forces in Apulia over to him, was to brutally torture the latter to death, after sealing his eyes, ears, nose and mouth with excrement. Maniacs was then proclaimed emperor by his troops and marched towards Constantinople. In 1043, his army clashed with troops loyal to Constantine near Thessalonica, and though initially successful, Maniacs was killed during the melee after receiving a fatal wound. Constantine's extravagant punishment of the surviving rebels was to parade them in the hippodrome, seated backwards on donkeys. With his death, the rebellion ceased. In Sicily, the town of Manoazza and the Syracusan fortress of Castello Manoazza are both named after him.